Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Good day, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Dr. Leadership Podcast. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Good basketball day being recorded here on the day I'm recording, so I'm looking forward to that. Hope you have enjoyed the content the last few weeks. Had some requests, did it on not mindset, but on just mental toughness last week. That was a request in from California. We appreciate that very much. And today we're going to continue on off of the mental toughness attitude here and that mindset to discuss in today's episode. We're calling it Be a Scout, and I'm going to jump into that here in a minute. But just like last week, had a referral in. Hey, what are your thoughts on mental toughness? Came out of California. Appreciate it very much. Send me an email at drleadershipresults@gmail.com. Give me ideas. If you have content ideas, things that you'd like my opinion on, I'm always interested in giving my opinion. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not, and sometimes I change it. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And then also remember, check out the early content that's available through our membership site. Go to our website, www.drleadershipresults.com. Click on subscribe. Go out there. First of all, you get to check out my ugly mug on the website. But then go out and click on subscribe. Hit the Patreon site. You get access to interviews. Just made public Toby Stansel this last week. Fantastic interview. Got some good ones coming up that I'm going to just keep quiet right now. You got to wait and hear what's going to happen. I'm starting to whisper like Joe Biden on important points. I will promise not to do that. But great content out there. You can get episodes early. It's a very small investment in your own well-being. Give us a chance. Send us ideas. Send us criticism. I'm okay with that. Remember, feedback's a gift. If you choose to accept it, I choose to accept it. Send it my way. So hope you are having an awesome day. Again, last week we talked about mental toughness, and today's topics will require that to be a part of your being. You and I need to be mentally tough. I remember, whenever I'm talking, I'm not talking because I know necessarily. I'm talking because I've experienced. I'm talking to myself. These are self-motivational moments for me as well. This is how I get charged up. I typically record either Saturday or Sunday mornings for the week, and it gets me motivated for the week. It's like, hey, slap myself in the face. Pay attention to this topic. So doing the research, looking into things, reading what others have to say that are far more intelligent than I am, maybe, helps me get motivated for the following week. So we have to be mentally tough. I need to be mentally tough to handle, the fact that today's discussions may be closer to home than you and I would desire it to be. We got to be able to admit to ourselves and others that you are wrong. It takes a tremendous amount of toughness to raise your hand and go, man, whoo, I missed that one. It's really important to be a truth seeker, right? It's really important to be able to admit to yourself that I don't have this right. I need to keep looking. It takes a mindset of a scout. And this goes to the military version of a scout. Well, a scout is somebody that goes out and seeks the truth, seeks what's in front. Right? They go out and see what's over the hill. You got to have a scout mindset over a soldier mindset. A soldier is one who stands strong with a belief or a group, simply to stay in the perceived correct group or the hip group. I'll touch on that in a little bit too. I want to dive deeper into this mindset by talking about a book and aspects inside a book by Julia Galef. And that's spelled Galef. And the book's title, it's a nonfiction. The book's title is The Scout Mindset, Why Some People See Things Clearly and Others Don't. why some people see things clearly and others don't. The premise of a scout is it's the desire or the motivation to see things for what they truly are, not as you wish they were. And I think that's really prevalent in today's world on a number of topics. I'm going to touch on a couple. I'm going to touch on the fringes of our political landscape a little bit today. Not stating my position, because my position's evolving. But I am going to point out, because it's important here in a few minutes, I'm going to start with business and personal life and this mindset. But we got to talk about some big examples out there, folks. I'm going to slap you in the face a couple times today. Hope you're ready. Thanksgiving's over, so I didn't bring this up at the Thanksgiving table with Minnie. Because I got some soldiers in the household, and I got some, or in my life, and I've got some scouts in my life. But again, the premise is to, as a scout, is to see things as they are. Psychologically, there are, how do I say it? There's two types of people. There's emotionally focused and intellectually focused, or emotionally constrained and intellectually freed. Now, that doesn't mean somebody's necessarily smarter than other people. It doesn't mean that they know more about science or they know more about topic A, topic B, topic C. But they are intellectually focused in seeking truth and to taking biases away from themselves, not worrying about what bubble or what corner you're in any topic in life. And we'll start with from a business standpoint. Think of those around you that simply can't be seen as wrong, anything but right. Or on one side of a situation when clearly the actuality is they have a blind spot, right? Everybody sees these people at work. You interact with them. Maybe you're the one. It's a blind spot, a skill they're maybe lacking, a scenario they aren't paying attention to or a focus to. Maybe they've always done it this way. I'm going to stick with what's gotten me here, right? That mindset can come into play a little bit. We always march at dawn, soldier mindset. Scout mindset says, hey, we don't want to march at dawn because the enemy's right over that hill. Looking around and seeing or hearing the truth to change directions based on the reality of the situation, not the desire of what you wish the situation was, to back up your point of view, is critical in life. Business life, personal life, talk about finances. Some people are soldiers. They soldier on further and further into debt. They don't face the reality and seek the truth around them that daddy ain't got no money. Mommy ain't got no money. I ain't got no money. You got to be willing to face reality and face the truth. Truth. I just said truth. To face the truth. We have discussed before how this can lead to narcissism too, right? The end result of this is it can become narcissistic behavior. And that is a terrible characteristic in both a business life and a personal life. No one is always right. I certainly am not. I take the approach to life of my balancing what a good amount of right is, like Hall of Fame baseball players. If I'm batting 300, I think I'm on a pretty good deal. If I'm right 3 out of 10 times the first time, it's a pretty good batting average. Lifetime. I've had some seasons of 450. But you are not always right. No one's always right. Things are not always as they may initially seem. Period. So, how are you going through your life looking to see how to find truth? Think of kids. Think of when you were a kid. I'm not talking about my kids here. I'm talking about young people, kids, especially teens, young adults, very soldier mindset. Very soldier mindset. They are the king and queen bees of soldier mindset. They are more interested. Here's the problem with kids. They are and young adults, they are more interested in the praise of their peers than agreeing with or following the direction of parents or family or mentors or people around them who are trying to give them guidance based on life experience. Remember, you don't make mistakes through experience. You gain experience by making mistakes. So as a young adult, as a person under the age of 30, to think that you've got it all figured out, and you look around in the world today, and there are some really stupid young people. They have no historical context or perspective of anything. They have no knowledge about what has really happened historically in this world. I mean, let's use this example. I've seen this meme. There's about 2.5 billion people that are ready to celebrate the birth of a man, a Jew, to celebrate Christmas. A Jew that was born in Israel. And they think that Israel hasn't existed since 1948. The other 4 billion people in the world, evidently. Those people are stupid. Sorry. Just historical fact. All sorts of books on it. You can go over and see it. You can literally walk the footsteps of the Bible. Thousands of years. This land has been that land. But kids are they're really, really interested in the praise of others, of their peers. They don't care that mom and dad said, or that uncle said, or grandma said. Money, relationships, work ethic, integrity, doing things for all this to come together as a young person, you got to sometimes stub your toe yourself. Parents and family have experience. Listen, if there's young people out there under the age of 25, 30 years old, listen to those around you that have cut the cloth before. Listen to grandparents, very experienced people. I remember a conversation, this isn't even in my notes. I was in London when Prime Minister May had the female leader of the United Kingdom in, I think it was 2018 is when I think this was. She had an emergency, or called an emergency election, and we had a tour operator that we were with, and he was leading us around, and you could tell he was very liberal in thinking, very progressive, very smart, just ask him. And we were going along, and she had been reelected, and actually she drove by us in a very, very nice car with security. We were on a bus, and he goes, she's heading to the Queen to announce that she's put together a government and get the approval of the Queen. Very, very cool stuff. Look up the history of England and the United Kingdom, and lots of great history there around their political positions, especially post-World War I. Very interesting stuff. And he was disappointed. And I said, why are you disappointed? He goes, because mostly older people vote for Miss May, and they don't have to live with the things that she's going to put in place or keep in place. Younger people do. The younger people's vote should count more. And I just asked him a very simple question. I said, so you feel that your emotions trumps their experience? And his head cocked a little bit like, wait a second, what's he saying here? I said, so you don't feel that people that have experienced a lot of things, have a lot of vision, great memory, have gone through things themselves, carries as much value. You think someone that has less experience should be empowered more. Think about that for a second. I hope I impacted him. It looked like I impacted him. It was a crazy, crazy discussion. There are work and personal life examples around all this. How about in the world around us today in the U.S.? Now, this is where I said I was going to kind of touch on this a little bit, and you just can't avoid it because there's no better example of soldier and scout than what's happened the last 7 years. And let's just talk for the last 8 weeks. There is no doubt. It is proven. It is written in their creed. Hamas is a terrorist organization. No arguing. Their core existence is the destruction of all Jews on the planet. Why is that truth so hard for some? I just don't get it. Think of what just happened last week in Congress. The president of MIT, Harvard, and UPenn, very successful ladies. They've gotten there somehow. Should be very smart. They were on the Hill this last week and would not answer simple questions about the Palestinian protests on their campuses, which are calling for the genocide of all Jews from the river to the sea. That means elimination of Israel and all those that are in it. And they would not answer the question, is it against their school's code of conduct? Now, it depends on the context. Are you kidding me? That is soldiering on there. What these poison Ivy League schools, yes, I just said that. It's a good way to look at them. These people are awful. They are such shoulders. They are such elitists. Their mindset is so wrong around DEI and progressivism that they can't call the desire to murder millions a code of conduct violation. What? This is a soldier mindset, not only a soldier mindset, but a mental illness. The progressive hierarchy of oppression, what I call the oppressive Olympics, the victim creation inside our higher education systems, is the greatest example of not seeking the truth, but standing with a team mentality, no matter how clearly wrong it is. Get these people away from our children. I would not send my children to an Ivy League school. I would not send first of all, there is no college education that is worth, for the education itself, $80,000 a year, compared to the same curriculum and the same history that's being taught, the same accounting principles that are being taught, the same laws that are being taught to become an attorney, an accountant, whatever it might be, than a state school, as an example. Now, the value is that you should be able to be hired at a higher rate, get the big job in New York, etc. Except now these institutions, because they've been so stupid and so soldier mindseted, are now pissing off the big money donors. Now, somebody's saying they aren't going to give them the $100 million. It's cost them hundreds of millions since this has all come out with these protests. These terrorist sympathizing young people that have no understanding of what the history is. Again, back to they believe that Jerusalem is not where Israel has a right to be and has only existed since 1948. But they have cost themselves a lot of money, but it's drops in the bucket. I mean, Harvard's bank account has $100 billion or something in it. Now, here's the crazy part about it. Take that $100 billion and just the interest alone, provide the education for $15,000 a year instead of $80,000 a year. But no, they perpetuate and put under tenure these professors that agree with their bubble and are poisoning the minds of our people one at a time. They don't seek the truth any longer, and that's what they were originally set up to do. Seeking truth, scouting, is what higher education, and in fact, our requirements of our governmental leadership is what we must demand. We need truth, man, no matter how hard it is. This goes back to the mental toughness I talked about last week. Millions of us have known for years that what is going on around us in our own government and our own politics is simply a narrative for certain people to remain in power. This is soldiering on like no other. They gaslight, they project on others what they're actually doing, what they are actually doing. So-and-so's bad, so-and-so's racist, so-and-so is bigoted, so-and-so is tied into the wealthy, so-and-so is giving tax breaks to the billionaires, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Meanwhile, the three fingers as they point to others are pointing back to them, and we better pay attention to those three fingers. These people are guilty of what they're projecting. There are two political families currently facing indictments in this country. One has been investigated more diligently than anyone ever in the history of a perceived wrongdoing. Every news agency, every social media company, every lawmaker on the left side of the aisle has gone after this family and trying to get some sort of proof, and there's no physical proof of wrongdoing. In fact, the other side has been proven wrong time and time again, and in fact, shown they were actually doing either what they were saying they were accusing the other side of doing, or doing what they say they aren't doing. Yet, because of the elitist soldier's mindset, the media as a complicit subgroup here continue to push the false narrative and super slow roll the uncovering of the truth to keep the mindset of millions on their side simply because millions don't want to find out they are wrong. Instead, hoping this time we really got them. This time it's going to be different. This time it's a smoking gun. It's insane. Open your eyes. And I think society is opening their eyes. Again, I'm not trying to pick a side because of a preference. I'm picking a side of truth and what's really going on here is what I'm seeking. Meanwhile, the other side is showing videos and laptops and emails and bank receipts and checks that have been written, and we have lifetime federal employees that have whistleblown and shown the receipts, and they're showing that's what's going on by those that are projecting and gaslighting society. They're really doing it. This is an example we all should be able to see the importance of a scout mindset. Don't be so tied up in a decision that you sink your own ship, which is our country, which is your business, which is your results as a family, which is your own well-being as a young adult. Seek the truth. Unfortunately, some people hate a person or a perceived, or they have this self-virtuous belief. I am so above all this. It's so pervasive in their mindset that they can't even take a breath to self-reflect. And that's what this is about. I'm going to get back to the book here in a minute, but I'm kind of laying out it's everywhere around us. We've got to embrace this scout mindset. You have to invest in seeking truth. I'm just using the examples that are right in front of us, folks. This isn't a political show, but I'm tired of people. I can't watch it without going crazy. Just going, look, it's right there. And they keep saying it. Look around and see the truth. Staring you right in the face. This commentary is not a political opinion again, but simply I'm giving a scout's report here, tying into the point of view here, or what the hell is really going on report. In the Galeff's book, she discusses the criticality of developing scout tendencies to better one's life. The book's basically in 5 parts here. The first part of the book, she describes the 2 mindsets. Okay, here's what a scout is, here's what a soldier is. I think I've painted that pretty well. A scout seeks the truth, is willing to admit they're wrong, doesn't think they're smarter than anybody else. They're soaking it in. They don't take what they're given from everywhere around them as gospel. Let's check the resources here a little bit. Is this opinion or is this fact? Is this real or perceived? Is this happening or hoped to be happening? And then a soldier just keeps repeating the same crap because that's what their team says they're supposed to do. I don't want to be wrong. I am virtuous. I have said I'm virtuous for 7 years. What if I'm not virtuous? Doesn't matter. I'm still virtuous. Look over here. The second part of the book goes into the self-awareness piece, and that's what I'm really talking about here. Look around you, man. How are you doing this thing? How are you acting at work? How are you acting in your personal life? Are you soldiering on, or are you looking around? That leads to part 3 on how you begin to thrive without illusions. And I love this part of the book. Soldiers stay soldiers because they think it will make or keep them happy. They don't like coping with tough situations, especially when those tough situations are that they have been fooled and they are wrong. They struggle to admit mistakes, whereas a scout, open-minded. Scouts are far more intelligent, far more intellectually tied in. Now, I've talked about the importance of emotional intelligence versus intellectual intelligence in business leadership and those types of things. Don't conflate the two. This is simply about letting emotions run you crazy. And that's what emotional intelligence is about, right? Is controlling your emotions. These people can't control their emotions. It's the same garbage out of their mouth every time. But he, but they, but he, but they. No, it's been proven it's not. Scouts are far more intelligent because you are able to freely change your mind without letting your little fragile emotions lead you away from the truth. This is critical in all aspects of life. And then the fifth part of the book is about rethinking your identity. And this is critical too. Messing with my notes here, excuse me. People get so tied up. Identity is so pervasive in everything in our world this day. What group are you with? How about we're Americans? Not white, not black, not yellow, not brown. How about we're Americans? Not Democrat, not Republican. How about we're Americans? Not rich, not poor. How about we're Americans? What an idea for an identity. Used to be that way when I was growing up. Country was great. Had freckles. Still the greatest country in the world. Not even close. The author here states, hold your identity lightly so as to avoid being held captive by your, club or your social group or other soldiers. See, these soldiers are so fearful of being cast out by the group they've chosen. And unfortunately, a lot of them are like the high school lunch table situation, right? That mentality. I need to be seen with the cool kids. I've worked my whole life to get into this little social network. I'm perceived as wealthy or smart or aristocratic. Crap. When in fact, you aren't cool kids, man. You're really not cool. That's the idiot table. That's the table that mean girls sit at in all the movies. That's the table that the dumb jocks sit at in all the tables. We are not talking about, when we're making decisions about seeking the truth in today's world, about the high school student council here. We're talking about life and death of millions of people potentially. Poor choices in our leadership over the last 3 or 4 years have led to 2 wars that have killed tens of thousands. I know that wasn't happening before. Very peaceful place. It has led to millions of losing their jobs, and slowly those jobs are coming back, not being created, but slowly coming back. The economy, the markets, aren't even to where they were 3 years ago when all this crap started or kept perpetuating. Soldiers are very insecure people. Don't be insecure. Soldiers are egotistical. Don't be egotistical. You are not better than anybody else. You are not right simply because you sat at the cool kid table or someone in your group thinks that you're virtuous because of who you're hanging with. Don't worry about virtuosity. Worry about being accurate and understanding what's really going on in anything in life. Business world, personal life, and especially political judgments coming up. We got to get some good leaders around us. Soldiers are short-sighted. Be a person with unfiltered and unblinders on vision. Look around. What's really happening? Wait a second, they said that, but how can that be when this over here, I'm looking at it? Like they say, don't believe the lies your eyes are telling you. Just look around, up and down, left and right. Be susceptible to understanding you aren't always right. To still see people believing one side of the last 7 years is proof the world is run by fools. Instead, be one of those awesome people that look around. It's called being a scout. Check out the book. Read the book. Look into it. Pay attention. Check your sources. Most importantly, you're awesome. Keep being awesome. Keep that shit up. Talk next week.